Okay, it's a new year, 2013. I've been doing this now for 5 or 6 years now. And so what's going to happen this year? This is my plan. This is at the lights area. This is where all the lights and the branches have occurred and all that kind of stuff, all the weird kind of junk. Now, anybody can say all sorts of things about it, but the truth is that there's something going on there, very odd. And paranormal, if you want to use that word. I'm not afraid to say paranormal and Bigfoot in the same sentence. And the reason is, the more I get into this, the more I find out there are so many strange things going on outside in these forests that I've been hitting. In this forest area is where I found fur and all that kind of stuff, and I've been trading with these creatures, and you know, I don't have a picture of them like just a regular picture, you know, mugshot of one of them, but I've seen them from far away. I've actually seen them 3 times, one in front of an old abandoned building in a whole different forest. And then here I saw them crossing a road going into this forest. And then somewhere around this area, I saw them out in a field, running in a field, one guy. And that's where I really became aware that this being is like a big goat. From far away, that's what I could see. He was just big, white, shaggy, and had a big tail. And oh, I never told people that it has a big tail. But I was waiting for other people to like see this being and tell me what they thought they saw. And that's what you see. So anyway, I've tried to keep that quiet, but I just spilled the beans. But anyway, this is a new place I found, and I didn't even know this was here. I thought this just went down to the water on this big hill here, this ridge. And I happened to go down there, and I found this little path that all the animals use. And I figured, well, if the animals use it, these other guys are probably using it too, because I'd wondered how they got from one area to another, and I never found how they did it, because they don't leave paths like the normal animals and all that kind of stuff. The other animals, they don't care if they leave a path. They just know how to get from one place to another easily, and they're walking on trails that they've made for probably hundreds and hundreds of years, you know. And but I found this place down here, and I also found my hoof prints down here, which is pretty odd for some people, not for me, because I know what I'm doing and what I'm looking for. But I'm coming down here to put a trail cam up here, and what I did was I set this lamp, LED lamp, that will turn on whenever you turn it on, and it will turn off 6 to 8 hours later or something like that, and then it will turn on the next day at the same time you turned it on. Well, last night on this video, what I did was at 9 o'clock at night, I turned on the lamp and it went on, and it's never malfunctioned or anything like that. It's just an on-off switch. So I turned it on, and when I woke up the next morning, it was off like it should be, and I headed off into the woods to put it out in the forest. And what I'm going to do is you'll actually see, is I put it out on the floor of the forest and put a trail cam watching it. But in this forest, everything happens in this forest. And here we go again, the big word, paranormal, yay! But anyway, everything happens in this thing. And so what I did was I brought some toys here to play with to see what's really going on, because I hadn't done that lately. And also, if you see this down pine stuff, this is my guys, and I'm not sure in this video you'll see it, but anyway, I'm gonna have to talk through a lot faster on this, because I have so much to say. I've got journals that I've been writing every time I go out and everything. There's like 22 pages right now of stuff, of what's been going on out here. But what I'm going to tell you right now is that there are beings out here. There are more than one type of beings. There are Bigfoot. There are also these white beings with hoofs that resemble a goat kind of thing. And they walk on 2 legs and they walk on 4 legs when they need to, but they have hands for feet, hands for their front appendages, and they can use them. This is the scary thing about this. Oh, let's get back to this light. Okay, so this lamp was on when I got there. Oh, how could it be on? I'll tell you what, there's so many things that go on out in this forest that are just so strange, where things like this lamp, like I said, it was turned on, yet the switch was on timer, and there was no problem. So anyway, I came back the next morning and figured, oh well, the thing's going to be dead. And I found out that the light actually somehow reset itself and did exactly what it was supposed to do, come on at 9 and go off at like 3 in the morning every night. Like anything I do, when I put a camera out first, nothing happens. So nothing really happened, and I didn't expect it to, but I know that I'm getting attention. And what I do is I do this purposely, put cameras in these places that are very strategic to where I think these beings would be or be hiding at any given time. And like I said, this is a place where I didn't even realize you could get to, or there was any place down here. And so this is the first time in 5 years that I've actually gone down in this area and found this area. And like I said, my light was on. So while I'm standing here, I go, well, I'm going to try some other stuff. I'm going to see if my compass works out here. And so I brought an analog compass. It's an army compass. I actually bought some other compasses, and in future going outings out here, I've used 2 different compasses and a GPS compass, and it's really strange, but in these certain areas, the compass will point in the wrong direction. And in this case, it was like 32 degrees off. And then at this other place, it was like 50-something degrees off. And this was at this vortex area that I call that because somebody had coined that phrase, said, oh, those are vortexes where the trees grow up spiraling. And so I put a camera there earlier on in the year. And I actually caught a black panther. I just got its tail going behind a tree and all that, a down tree, but he was there. And so I know he's out there anyway. There's also a fisher out here, fisher cat, and black panther, and there's a couple black bear. And I know they're out here. So anyway, I've seen them on my trail cams, when my trail cams work correctly. So I put this thing out. My compass is off, and I think what I'm going to show you is that in a bit. Anyway, I've been doing that lately because I need to figure out really what's going on out here. It's obviously, there's technology going on, and it's been happening for a long time. I've done so many experiments where I've had my cameras facing each other, and each of the cameras will go off for 10, 20 minutes and then come back on by themselves, and they don't show anybody in front of it or anything like that. They do, sometimes they go into night vision before they go off. So here's the light that I'm putting out. So anyway, where was I? I was back talking about the other stuff. Okay, so I went out here and I asked, I found that if I ask things out aloud, somebody is actually listening to me. And I can prove that because I used to get animals all the time. They were bloodless animals. They had a little hole in it, or they've had some part ripped off, or they've been cut. But there's never any blood. And they're just left there for me to take, and I've never taken them. And it started getting ridiculous. It even got down to where there was a whole cow, brought near my house. So anyway, I went out there and I told them, I said, okay, no more, I don't need any more food, I'm good, and blah, blah, blah. Thanks a lot. But what I'd like to do is you to tell me, show me that you have technology. Now, everybody just laughed and all that kind of stuff, but we're not the smartest people in the world, I'll tell you. There are more things going on. I mean, we only use 1/10 of our brain. Why? So with that question, I say to myself, I'm just not using all my brain power, that's all. So there's things happening around me that I can either do and or know that are being hidden from me. So with that in mind, I went out here, and I know these guys listen to me, and so I said, I'd like you to show me technology, because I know you have it. I know you have some kind of cutting device. I don't know if it's like a laser or what kind of cutting device. Well, what happened? I went out there with a witness, and sure enough, I found cut branches and cut little trees in this one little area, and it looked like somebody was practicing with some kind of laser, trying to cut the stuff, and somebody was teaching them how to use it. And or they were doing exactly what I asked for, was them to show me that they have technology, because I know they do. They have that cutting device, and they actually showed me them using it and how it can cut in different ways. I do have video of all that. So there we go. That's exactly what I've been trying to find out, is if they have technology. What I'd like is if they would give me the technology. I know that's big, I'm sure they're not going to just say, oh, here you go, here's a laser weapon or whatever they use, which also brings up something else. If they can cut with this laser device, what else can that device do? And then what else other devices do they have? Is this something to do with the fact that they can run, well, they will run a few yards and then just vanish? Or they can be right near me, and all of a sudden they'll create a horrible stench like urine or something like that, and I'll be right there. Yeah, I don't see them. So all the Bigfoot people out there are going, oh, they're all cringing and all that kind of stuff. But, this is reality. This is real. I'm not doing Disney version. I'm not out looking for some big old hairy creature that needs cookies and we need to feed them and all that kind of stuff. And they're all lonely and all that kind of junk. And they, no, these creatures are out there. And there's more than one being. Like I said, there are a bunch of different beings out there. And they do have technology. I also know where they live. I haven't done anything about that because I don't just want to walk in their door and stuff like that, and getting into their door, I haven't really figured it out yet. And there may be other doors and ways of getting in, and I just haven't found them yet. But I know there are cave vents. I know that some of these places out here are hollow. And how do I know that? Because I've been doing this for 6 years. So I've narrowed everything down and everything like that, and I've gotten to the point where I just want them to give me technology. So anyway, this action-reaction stuff, what I do is I put cams in these places. Like I said, at the vortex area, I put a camera there, and that's where I got the panther and all that kind of stuff. And I haven't collected anything yet here at this place, except that the card was removed and put back into my machine into my camera and was not put in all the way. So that wasted my time, 1 week. My other camera, this is freaky. This is where it gets freaky. I put the camera right at the area, facing right at where the trees were cut, to see if something would happen. This is called action reaction. This is what I do. I bother them. Wherever I see them, their actions, I see if I can get a reaction by put a camera out there, and they hate the cameras. So anyway, I go out there, and guess what? A week later, my camera's sitting there, and it says it has 848 pictures on it, video clips. Well, that's ridiculous. I don't think it can even hold that many on an 8 gigabyte card. So I open it up, and I see that on the screen, the inside screen is on. Well, it shouldn't be on, and it says there's 777777 on it. Like somebody didn't know how to make the screen do what it wanted, or had no idea what it was supposed to look like, and they made it do that. The electronics. Well, the thing, like I said, was on, so I turned it off. It didn't turn off. It just stayed on. So I sat there and I talked about it with my bud, and I said, you know, it's not turning off either, you know, the switch is off and it's not turning off. So I turned it back on, it just stayed there. Then finally it started to fade away, like it had residual electricity in it from somehow, whatever. And it finally faded out and disappeared. So I took the camera home and the card, and there was only 13 pictures on it. And on the 13 pictures, there was one picture. There was wind going on, and in the back of the wind, you can hear just a whole lot of sound going on. It sounded like a party was going on right there. And well, it can't be. It's way out in the middle of nowhere. But then you figure, like, if it does it for one 10-second clip, then it would do it again, because it goes on every 4 seconds after it turns itself off if there's something happening. But never does it work. Does it show anything else? It always shows just one thing happening, which is ridiculous, you know. In any other forest, if an animal walks up to my camera, I'll see him wandering around in 2 or 3 or 4 clips before he leaves. I'll see him coming and I'll see him going. But the lights area, I don't see that. I see them just walk up to the camera, and then they just go. They vanish. There's no signs of any animals there, etc., etc., etc. I've done 2 cams there. I've done all sorts of kind of things. I've done every kind of experiment you could think of, and nothing happens there correctly. But this forest here, what I'm talking about, I got my GPS out and tried the GPS, and it was 52 degrees off from even the analog compass to north in just these certain areas. And then when I got like maybe 200 yards away from this camera that I just put up, my everything went fine. All the GPS worked, and the other stuff worked. But let's get back to this technology thing. I think what's happening is I've seen lights over this place. This is what brought me out here in the first place. I kept on seeing, and I do keep seeing lights over this area and going down to the ground out there. So whatever's happening, there are beings out here that live under the ground and have technology where they can do things. I don't know the extent of their technology. I do know these things. They always run from me, and they run a few steps and then they just disappear. And years ago, on another mountaintop, I saw somebody do that and vanish right in front of me. And I couldn't make out what the being looked like because it just didn't make any sense to me. And so that's where I'm at. And that's why I don't really know what to do, show people stuff. Oh, action reaction. Like I said, I put the camera out here at the thing, and I always get a reaction. Next time I walked out in the woods a few days later, a week later, right in front of me there was a dog's head that had been torn off, and it was just lying on the ground. I do have video of all that kind of stuff, but that's what happens. I get, I'm not sure if they're trying to scare me or do what they're trying to do. The funny thing is that they don't have to do anything. If they didn't show me that or do all these stupid things, I wouldn't even know anybody was there. But they seem to be intent on showing me stuff, and they're making a mistake by doing that, because I know now that there's all these beings out there and that all these things are happening. But it's the technology that I'm interested in. I want to know how they're doing all this kind of stuff, how they can change reality. And I'm not even going to get into that because you wouldn't understand it, but it's a fact, and I have proof, and it happens all the time, and it's just amazing what can go on in a place like this and what's going on in this place. And this is where video 46 happened, for everybody who wants to know that. And this place is just bizarre. It's totally bizarre. So that's what I'm up to, and hope you, well, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Anyway, I can't show you all that kind of stuff. I'd like to, but I just get laughed at by all these idiots out there, you know? So I'm gonna have to keep it to myself. The actual proof, anyway. So there it is. See you later.